This is where I say welcome to my patch 8.16 notes. The one thing I have to say before I'm going to these notes is I've probably put in a lot less time in between the last patch and this patch, generally to what I've done throughout the season. So rather than looking at how the exact current state of the game is, I usually have a little bit more of a like kind of temperature on that. I'm gonna just figure out whether or not I like the changes, not relative to what I consider to be the current state of the game. Because usually at the start of my patch notes, I talk about what I want nerfed and what I want buffed. But I don't think I'm going to do that this patch notes because I feel uncomfortable talking about the current state of the game when I've played it less than I have in earlier patches. So without further ado, let's get on to this patch. Obviously, we're getting closer and closer to playoffs and worlds, so the actual big amount of big changes should be decreasing over time. Let's see what we got. Patch 1.6 where you buff up a few tanks and some champions who've been terrorizing the Rift get taken down a peg. We notice that tanks are struggling on the Rift, true. We don't want to add power onto their atomization, so we're taking this opportunity to add some baseline power into their kits. Then there's also a few outliers who need to be kept in check, Aatrox, Fizz, and Tryndamere. We're launching 2 patch alpha tests of Nexus Blitz. Okay, cool. They want to buff tanks. Off the top of my head, I think that that's good. I think that there should be an option to play tanks because I think that I generally think that a balanced team comp should have a tank, and that you should stylistically be allowed to play other types of team comps, but the option to play tanks should be there. And at the moment, I think that there's only like a couple options for top lane tanks at the moment. Okay, let's keep going. Aatrox passive healing against champs decreased. Charges granted on healing decreased. We mostly gotten Aatrox power level to a good place. We need to trim a bit of his lane strength to prevent him from being much of a bully. I mean, I think this was pretty obvious, right? When I first talked about Aatrox nerfs, I talked about how they've been missing their the problematic part of Aatrox. The biggest problem with Aatrox is his sustain, the level 1 sustain that he got with his E. And so his large sustain in lane phase from like the 1 to 7, 1 to 9 era. And I knew even based on like 2 patches ago when they first touched Aatrox that this is going to be a problem. And they were going to have to nerf this in the future. Lo and behold, they did. So I don't know what to say except for this is definitely necessary. Rather than nerfing the full amount, they decided to nerf damage against champions, which rewards better, I guess, pressure from hitting champions, which I think is a good way to take it. But this is 100% within expectations for Aatrox, and I just think it's funny it took them this long to do it. Then again, I mean, Zoe exists, so. Fizz, W damage ratio decreased, R damage ratio decreased. Holy shit, okay. Last patch I talked about how Fizz got overbuffed, right? Especially on his level 1 or his close range guppy. And in this patch, you're like, you know what? He got 2 buffed. We're toning it back a bit. I guess rather than talking about these changes, let's talk more about the idea of buffing and then nerfing, or nerfing rapidly and then rebuffing stuff. I know talking to Ryder before in their balance philosophy a long time ago, if they couldn't fix something in one change, it wasn't as optimal as doing a lot of really small changes to fix champions. I don't necessarily know, this was a long time ago, this is like a couple years ago, so I don't know if their philosophy has changed. And based on this, I feel like this is more toward the like small, like let's move the needle this way or move the needle this way type of change. I don't mind changes like this. I just think it's really funny because it's hard for them to determine how the relative strength of Fizz's W change when they also decide to change the R damage as well. I think that he's probably gonna be in line pretty soon, and Fizz is one of the biggest problematic electric Q champions because his Q auto W reset and E out does a lot of damage and procs electrocute pretty consistently. So, and it's really hard to counterplay. So, I think that maybe he's a little bit overtuned. I haven't played him enough. I think he's definitely a little bit better than he was before. And if they think he's a little bit too strong, then I think bringing him a little bit in line but buffing him from where he used to be is a good thing. Hecarim, Q base damage increased in later ranks, Q damage ratio increased. Pretty weak, but we should be careful how we buff him. A bit more extended DPS should help him shine in the mid game without making him a one-shot monster. I do agree with this. I don't think they should look to buff other portions of him. He is one of the biggest predator celerity abusers in the game. And so it's difficult to buff Hecarim without just having him like steamroll your team. I think this is a fine way to do it. Generally, the problem with buffing junglers is the fact that a lot of times they struggle. The jungle is such a tempo oriented matchup. So if you can't out skirmish the other jungler and contest like, you know, scuttle, then you're not going to be in a good spot. And so generally when there are buffs put toward the mid game, which is kind of where this is going, right? Mid late game, they're not as impactful buffs for champions, especially in the jungle, which is why it's difficult to balance jungle champions, especially with the inclusion of stuff like these Rift Scholars, because your focus is so much on the skirmishing / early game that buffs like this, which in other metas would be like decent or somewhat good, I look at it and I'm just like, all right, whatever. And so for me, this is a all right, whatever. Literally all right, whatever buff. Ori, base MR decreased. Excels at bringing enemies in range of the ball. We wanted to make sure that when our opponents do close the gap, they have a better shot at the kill. I'm surprised. I don't think, is there a champion with sub 30 MR? I would have been okay with just nerfing her E MR, but I mean, I guess this is a way to do it to where it's more personal. I don't really care. I don't really care about the standard of 30 MR. I know Talent has above 30 MR, and other people have MR scaling. Some people don't, whatever. But I don't know necessarily if Ori's power level is as high as I'm expecting this nerf to require. I guess it's somewhat not that relevant. It's a small nerf to her laning phase. Okay, don't think it matters. Quinn AD growth decreased. They're making it so she scales worse with AD growth. Okay, I think she could use a little bit of nerf in the current meta. I'm okay with that. Rakan health and armor decreased. High mobility and durability has been a tricky combination in the past. Rakan has become a dominant pick of his, yep, especially in pro play. We're toning back Rakan's durability in early game to make him more vulnerable in matchups. The problem with Rakan that I find is like his ulti initiation is too good. Like, especially when it comes to consistently getting you the initiation that you want, it's incredibly powerful and it's pretty much undodgeable reaction time for most people. And so he's such a hard champion to balance because he's like one of the most reliable initiators in the game, regardless of any item level. So they're trying to make it so his lane is weak, but if you have a weak lane, you can't exist in the game a lot of times. So it's like, maybe for me it might be better to have Rakan have a slightly faster or slightly slower ulti, consistent initiation, and be able to maintain his laning, which I don't necessarily think is super good at the moment, as opposed to trying to nerf his lane stats that he's just overall worse. Yeah, I think that a lot of the nerfs that he gets is because of his consistent utility, as opposed to, and it's really hard to balance around that, as opposed to like this is gonna feel kind of bad playing him because this is definitely like a pretty decent laning nerf. So he's gonna be less viable in certain situations, but still, if he gets out of lane, he's gonna be very good. I guess that's one way to take it. I don't mind. I think that he does deserve nerfs here and there. I don't necessarily know if this is the way I would have done it. Talia, movement speed decreased. This champ is so good in the jungle right now. Like, I don't even know what to say. They decide to W cooldown increase at early ranks. R wall no longer grants vision. Okay, that's a really interesting change. I definitely think lowering her move speed is really important because the consistency of her ganking right now, especially with her passive, is like insane. And so I don't think she should be such a strong roam lord jungler with also the level of burst that she has. I definitely agree with the movement speed nerf. I think that there's a champion where, like, for instance, I want to be able to catch her outside of her move speed and just annihilate her. And I think that at the moment she's too consistently good at jungling and roaming in general. So nerfing her, good in my book. Trundle, Q damage decrease at later ranks, Q damage ratio increase at later ranks, Q damage sap duration decreased. Building potential is too high even if he isn't building damage. Okay, wow. They lowered his lowered his damage so much. This nerfs his full tank utility Trundle building, which is the most common. And it also nerfs his jungle, right? Because he can't use the stolen AD to clear as much. I do agree with somewhat of these Trundle nerfs because I think that like he does crowd out just a lot of tanks and a lot of melees from the jungle. However, it's a funny situation because I think that nerfs to like Talia Trundle just push Kindred Graves up to like a disgusting level, and I don't think that either of them have any kind of counterplay at the moment through the jungle champions outside of I guess if you're really good at pathing with certain like I guess more assassin oriented junglers, but it's hard to outpath someone that can just run into your jungle and beat you at trades. So I'm not huge on I think both of these champions deserve nerfs, but I think that you do have to look at the current situation where I think ranged AD junglers are kind of taking over the game. And you have to be a little bit careful about that. Tryndamere, E cooldown increase at later ranks. The buff has made Tryndamere too sticky, so we're reverting it. Alright, fair enough. I think the AP version for Tryndamere buff made him pretty insane, so I don't blame this. I think it's pretty funny that the AP version was super good, but maybe made him too consistent. Wukong, Q base damage decrease, Q damage ratio decrease. Wukong's burst damage is too high for a champion who has dash and ability to reduce the amount of time opponents have to respond. Generally agree, but I think I keep seeing these nerfs to early game, right? I keep seeing this stuff, and it's like, dude, his early game sucks. Like, I don't think he needs more nerfs to early game. I'm down to give him more nerfs toward like kind of the mid late game where he is a problematic champion. I think right now, like, nerfs to him across the board just make him really hard to play. I know that he has like a strong win rate in multiple positions right now, but I'm just thinking like there's a lot. Like I'm surprised they're nerfing him so hard early, because his early game is like what kind of sucks the most. And early game champion nerfs tend to be difficult because like you need to be able to lane to be a champion in the game. So Wukong, which already has like somewhat of a bad laning phase, is only gonna get smacked around more early. Zoe, passive damage decreases all ranks. W ratio damage decreased. Zoe should do less damage if she doesn't land her skill shots. Wow, I agree. And this has always been her biggest problem, is that her passive and her W do too much damage. And so I'm more than welcome for the, like, thank God, you know. I think that like she's been such a big problem when it comes to like I think they did a good job at balancing like her, you know, her Q and E, but like I think her W her undodgeable damage is so high that like it just felt really bad to play against. Thank God I saw this nerf though. Holy shit. A plus for me right here. Tanks have not been feeling so hot in the recent patches, are taking this opportunity to put more durability into their kits. Oh, what the heck? Amumu got a... Holy shit. Bonus armor and 3% bonus MR. That's nice. It's not gonna change much. I'm not gonna lie, but it's nice. It's a very small thing. I'll take it. You know, Leona W buffs. Ooh, this is really nice actually, because you're maxing W first, so you're seeing the impact of this like straight into the early levels / mid game. Yeah, this isn't that much. Nihilus W base shield decreased early. W maximum health scaling decrease. I have not seen a Nihilus in a long time. They gutted this champion after he became too good as a support top laner. And I think he was jungled at some point during time. And so now I don't see him much. What does he do? They made it so... Oh, his cooldown is much low. The duration and cooldown are much lower. And they give him less max health I think this is much better. This is really good. It opens up him a lot more to areas of trading. I like it. I like it. The Rammus W bonus resist increase, so they're increasing the bonus resist here. Plus MR damn. I still don't think it's gonna be good. But I mean, these are just small buffs to help the junglers, right? I'm down. I think all of these junglers could use some buffs, especially these three right here are these three, and Leona, to be honest, or these four are all champions that could use. I'm okay giving them any kind of small buff. It's all right. Scion W health gain increased. Ooh. He'll be a little bit tankier going into the mid late game. Okay, that's an interesting way to buff him. I think Scion is always gonna be like average to above average. I know right now the top tier tanks are Poppy Mundo, but I feel like Scion's like one buff away from being back in that situation. Kench. Wait, Kench really that bad right now? I see Kench in competitive play at the moment. He's good as he's pretty good as a somewhat counterpick to certain melees, but stuff like Alistar. He's decent to stuff like Kench or Morgana as well, and I don't think he's bad. Q slow duration decreased, cooldown decreased. It's by 0.5. Devour duration to 4. Half ally duration. Cooldown is holy shit. Oh, it's so that if you save a champion, you have a big window to play around. Oh, but they made the mana cost a lot lower. You know, I like this. I don't think he should. I think one of the biggest problems with Kench is the fact that he's too consistently good at saving his allies. And I like this a lot because I think it really does. It's a hard punish, though. I don't know if I would have been this hard on it, but I think that he did need to be less consistent at saving his allies for sure. But the 28, the 14-second nerf for saving your ally, that's insane. Oh my god. Alright, so runes. High burst runes have overall warp lethality and game pacing, are pulling damage out of the worst defenders. Area electrocute. Okay. So I made a video on this, thinking that runes are too problematic right now, and a lot of it is on the consistent damage of that the runes provide. The thing, I will talk more about this as we keep going, but I do agree with the area nerf. Electrocute nerf is quite big. Holy shit. 20 damage early, less AP, less AD, and the cooldown is halved, so you can use it twice as much. That's actually not that bad. It's worse when you're playing, I think, one-shot champions late game, but for laning, I think you'll have more windows where you can abuse electrocute. So I think both this nerf definitely needed to happen. Base damage early game nerf for sure needed to happen. Celerity, movement speed conversion, and adaptive damage decreased. Ooh, okay, so it's nerfing the big offenders. Stuff like Jhin, for instance, no longer gets as much from move speed. This does add quite a bit of damage to certain champions. Cheap shot. No one used this. I'll be completely honest. I don't know anyone who used cheap shot. Feast is so OP on this tree. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm actually crazy. Maybe people did use cheap shot, but like sudden impact and feast were just like super OP in my opinion. Sudden impact, lethality, magic pen decreased. I think I talked about this at the very start of the season that they would have to nerf this. Literally, when runes first came out, I thought sudden impact was OP, and in the consistency that it brought. I think that Feast is actually going to be like God. god mode on this tree for everyone then. Okay, Scorch damage. Oh, this is a big problem too. Scorch 10 to 30, but the cooldown's tapped. So it's the same thing if you're punishing them consistently throughout the lane. I actually like this. I would have just done a flat base damage nerf early and scale it to 60, but keep the cooldown the same. But I think this allows you to be rewarded if you harass a lot more. So let's talk about all these for a second. I think that this is, in my opinion, a very good way to go about the game. And I had a lot of people talk about how like I prefer the meta. They prefer metas where assassins and people are really squishy because it allows for more outplay potential. I'm not looking to bring a only tank meta back. However, I do think that nerfing runes like this allow for easier ways to balance the game. Because the only way you're gonna be able to beat stuff like the pre-nerf Airy, pre-nerf Electrocute, pre-nerf Scorch, pre-nerf Sudden Impact is humongous tank runes like Aftershock, right? Where you're getting 80 MR armor at level 1 for CC. And I think by nerfing down burst runes here, they're then able to go and nerf down like the super strong offensive tank, or if they needed to nerf these down and create like a better game state, in my opinion. Because I don't think the right way to have the game is to have like super OP damage countered by super OP defensive tools. And I think that this is a good step to kind of make the game better balanced. I will say though, off this patch, maybe tanks are going to be stronger based on the fact that, you know, they're not going to be taking as much consistent damage based on this stuff. So maybe it might take another patch or two for them to be able to normalize it. I'm hoping that by Worlds we'll have a good healthy meta where you can play multiple different things. But I think this is a good start for what I'd like to see. I'm gonna keep going. Heal cooldown decreased. In patch 8.6, heal was crowding out other options in mid lane, so we lengthened this cooldown. This pushed marksmen and mid laners to teleport, which had a much more notable impact on meta, so reverting the heal nerf. Oh wow. Oh yeah, bot lane ADs have already been taking a lot of heal in my games, so this is definitely going to be better for both mid and bot. Interesting. Why on nerf resolve 2? You act like this was a good patch. It is a good patch, in my opinion. But like, I think it's hard for you to see the impact of the patch if you nerf both damage and burst. I think actually the resolve tree has been nerfed a lot to the point where I think bone plating is just like okay. And the biggest problem with that tree is actually second wind. And like in terms of like the keystone runes. So I think that having this and getting a 2 or 3 weeks to look at kind of what happens behind the scenes with these nerfs and then adjusting from there is a good way to start. What else is there? Ooh, they have nice skins. Really, really nice skins. I think, oh god. Wait, how do I close this? Oh god. Alright, there we go. I think generally the quality of rich splash art is insane right now. If you've ever seen any of the splash art from their recent skins, everything is so good. Like, it is one thing that they're doing, the skin splash art team is doing a great job. Wow, this is actually has almost no bug fixes. That's surprising. All right. So one of the things you have to note about this patch is that I think that what I would have liked to see at the very end of this is maybe a Mundo nerf, because I think that it makes it hard for you to pick other tanks when he's just the best one. But I do think that like they didn't buff any of the super strong tanks currently. Like Poppy and Mundo saw no buffs. They directly buffed a lot of the super weak tanks, like for instance Nautilus. Literally, I've not seen this champion in any of my games, or Mumu, except for when I'm playing the champion, or Rammus, to be honest. And so I think that they're taking it a little bit careful when it comes to the patch. I I love the Zoe nerf. I think that's great. I think that I like the Talia nerf. You know, I think the Aatrox nerf was necessary too, and so I think they did a lot, especially for the competitive side of things. I think they helped out a lot, and even for solo queue, I'd prefer if these nerfs saw the light of day. And I really liked what they did with both Airy and Scorch. I think those were probably the two biggest offenders, and then I guess Electrocute as well. You know, I have no problem with them nerfing this the way that they did. I like the way the game is going. I will say that maybe next patch, like defensively, the game might be more favored for defensive, both runes as well as I guess not gameplay, but like tanks are obviously going to be slightly better off of these changes. I think I'm okay to kind of see where that state of the game goes. Yeah, I like to see what happens with it, you know. I like this patch. I like it a lot. And I think they did a lot of what I was originally really worried about. Cool, let's talk about Nunu. So, first of all, they decided to make it like this felt like a very Disney move by them. I look at like Zoe, I look at these Nunu and Willump, which I think it's really interesting that they're classifying Nunu and Willump as like the same champion, because they're putting like you actually have an identity for this guy Willump, right? Before it used to just be the Yeti rider, but they're very like, it feels very much like a Disney-esque in terms of the theme that they're going for. I kind of like it, you know. I don't mind. I think that it's nice to have like, you know, colorful, playful champions and in the game, and I think that like we have like edgelord champions, you know, Pike feels very much along that line, and we have champions that are I guess don't really fit this demographic, and I think that like, you know, it's okay to go with some of these. Nunu is Yeti. They'll be the greatest heroes yet every Monday afternoon. Discovered the fearsome monster of legend. Was just waiting for a good snowball fight. He and Will became the best of friends. Then I roamed from one adventure to the next. Their imagination really mild. Wintry magic making it real. Unaware that I play with the power to save the Freljord. Cool. So I've not played Nunu before. I've not seen him. This is my first look at him. This kind of ends the situation where I've seen future champions. So I'm going in this completely blind with no idea or any expectation of what to expect with these champions outside of seeing 20-second trailer. So passive, Call of the Freljord. Damaging enemy champions, large monsters, and structures increases the attack and movement speed of Willump and nearby allies for a few seconds. Ooh, that's really good. And a nearby ally. So just one. Prioritizing the attack ally with the highest attack speed. When Willump hears the Call of the Freljord, his basic autos cleave? Alright, well, it'll help with jungling, for sure. Okay, so when Riot has been reworking champions, the most common thing that they did this with this champion, they did this with Malzahar, they did this with multiple champions, is they put one of the abilities onto the passive, and this allows them to have the design space to create a new ability for the champion. So yeah, they did that with literally every rework that they've ever, it feels like almost every rework they've ever done, to open up more space while still keeping the inherent champion the same. This is literally his Blood Boil. They changed his Blood Boil to make it like this. It is nice, it looks like it has somewhat good utility, and allows him to be able to clear easier. And movement speed is always really good. Oh, exception problem maybe a Swain. Sorry about that. But for the most part, it's a very common thing that they end up doing. Q is the same thing as before. Takes a bite out of the enemy, dealing true damage to monsters and minions or magic damage to champions, and heals himself. Heals increase significantly when they're on low HP. Cool. Wow, what? That's a lot of healing. Okay, I like that you can use it on other champions. I know playing Nunu is like somewhat, I don't mind playing champions that don't have much mechanical requirement. I think going in the future, this champ's still not going to have much mechanical requirement, right? Let me see the rest of his abilities, but it feels like his passive does itself, right? But I think that having the option to be able to consume enemy champions allows you to be able to balance better around the state of the current jungle, which is very skirmish heavy, in my opinion. Oh yeah, it's kind of Nunu Q. W, biggest snowball ever. They actually called it biggest snowball ever. Holy shit. Willump starts rolling a snowball that grows in size, crashing the snowball into a wall. Enemy champion or large monster knocks up a nearby enemy. Nearby enemies. So it's a knockup. Reactivating the skill sends the snowball forward in a straight line, dealing and knocking up minions in addition to champions and monsters. The damage and duration of snowball increases. Oh, that's funny. Wait, it just keeps getting bigger. Oh, wait. It starts from here. This is max size. It needs full screen to gain max size. Wow. So he has sort of initiation slash CC slash ganking tool now outside of his cute E-slow. That's interesting. Okay. I like it. Okay. Snowball Barrage rapidly flings up 3 volleys of snowballs near targets, damaging champions, marking them snowbound. Enemies hit by all 3 snowballs in a volley are briefly slowed. And when snowball ends, all snowball bound units are rooted. What? Wow. Okay. So it's able to root if you stay near people. This feels like it's a direct nerf to my one-shot AP Nunu build. But so he's coming in hot with a lot of utility now, right? He has Blood Boil on passive. He has knockup plus CC on initiation on W. He has AoE Rune on E. Interesting. Okay. Absolute Zero. It's the same thing. Oh, he gains the shield. Okay. Oh, okay. They added a shield component. That's nice. Wow, he can lane gank. Where's his E? Where's his E? Oh, he opened with it at the beginning. Oh, and it rooted. Wow, how did it root her? Oh, she got hit with one tick of the snowball at the very end. Oh my god. Okay. Wow, that's actually so strong as an initiation tool. Okay. More skirmish tool rather than like a straight initiation. How fast can you turn? Wait a second. Wait, that's so funny. They included that clip? It's not Scion level bad when it comes to turning. I like it. He's cool. He definitely falls under like the I don't think his role has changed. He still looks like a hardcore supporter style jungler. His kit just has more CC into it. And he gets somewhat skirmish better with his Q, it sounds like, which means that he'll be better in the current state of the jungle. But look at these splash skins, dude. They're so good. That's what I was saying, dude. Riot's killing the splash, the splash skin department. It's great. Okay, not this one. This one's the same as before. Look at this. Oh, this is the same as before too. Look at Nunu bot interactions. Oh, he looks so cool with this one.
0110011.
It spells noob in binary. I'm so stupid.
Someone tell those monsters they're trash. I can't because I'm chat restricted.
What?
Oh, hi Mark. Love me some Trindamir.
Really?
Trindamir won't die. He must be hacking. Sometimes life is so good. It's fun to imagine you are lame and bald.
Wait.
Another prize rework in 3, 2, 1.
He's a flamer.
Whoa! A hamster piloting a mech! The Rift Wars are awesome!
Wait, I thought Nunu was supposed to be like a nice, and Willump was supposed to be a nice, kind champion.
Your name is inaccurate. You can neither blitz nor crank. I will call you Grab Shock.
That's funny.
An outdated model. Hello Blitzcrank. Have you managed to exterminate anything today?
Be careful! Lee Sin can kick you from across the world! Watch out! He has sword boots!
Master Yi. You kill very fast and are honorable. There is an action movie somewhere that wants its mech designs back.
They're actually
I
hardcore.
am all the robot Riot Corp needs.
Wait, I like this.
Super
This
Robot
is so
Wars.
good.
Begin. You have dangerous guns.
Did you see all the bugs beneath that guy's armor?
I relate to your lore so intimately. Not you, Nautilus. Your suit.
What's his suit's lore?
I love Pugma. He fits perfectly in my compactor.
That's funny.
Kawaii Desu!
I'm disgusted that that's a
I
line.
need 6 more RP for Star Guardian Nerd God.
Timber's bot never talks. Guess he's not as awesome as you, Willump.
Can't Killian the Zillion.
This guy's just meme lord, right? That's his
I
ulti?
can finally tower dive without noobs getting in the way.
Wait, his ulti looks so cool.
That's never happened to me!
I'm not crying. It's blue essence.
You're all coins now!
I have taught you well, Nunu.
Oh, actually, I've gotten the
I
one
have
Nunu
become
pentakill in my
Destroyer
life.
of noobs.
That's funny.
Oh, how the cheers of the crowd warm my circuits. Wait, I'm just overheating. Now I am the super bot. Their tiers are fully stacked.
His
These guys
Ada
are
looks weird. It's like he's actually boxing. Throwing like a little like right
Full
hook, you know.
damage.
Holy shit.
Another step closer to Challenger League! Woo! And the crowd goes wild! Wow, we love you, yeah.
I like that.
Only you can prevent forest fires by killing red buff. Now we have the red circle, which looks sweet and helps us kill faster. Party in the front, brambles in the back. Sick burn.
He has 4 lines for Bramble?
Back is
5?
dangerous because he is red. Overclocking enabled.
6?
An interesting
What
fact about
the
sentinels. No one ever calls them sentinels. Now we have the blue circle, which looks really sweet.
That's like more lines than any
I
other
need
champion
that
on just the
I need
buff.
that buff. That tingles. The power to win was inside us all along. That's what I'll say after we get blue buff. I finally have the energy I need to buy more gems for Rift War Mobile.
What?
A dragon is no match for my pneumatic fists.
I knew we could do it, Willump.
So
There are
majestic,
12
so
minutes
peaceful.
of interactions?
Dragon now. My superior
This tower died! GI code from the game League of Legends.
error.
Cogs, broke again.
What the fuck? I'm
Oh, where those tentacles dragon now.
That Dragon Slayer module finally came in handy.
I will punch this Baron through the fourth wall to say hello.
Wait,
to
there's a kitty reference? There's no way.
That Dragon Slayer module.
Let's punch this. So majestic. A dragon is no match for my pneumatic fists.
I knew we could do it, Willump.
So majestic. So peaceful.
At 8:50, I
Let us
gotta
destroy
watch
it.
this.
Welcome to the Destroyed Monster Club. Appreciated our skills have triumphed once more. Welcome to the Destroyed Monster Club. Appreciated a lot.
Wait, that's so funny. I like that Riot's not. This is the first skin that Riot's like not taking it super seriously on, you know? I like that they're willing to like meme it up here and there. I think it's really
Be
nice.
careful. You do not know where those tentacles have been.
Just a boy and his robot doing boy and robot stuff.
Now you will see what happens when you listen to my superior plans.
Wait.
Gigabit.
Who said that?
Gigabit.
Wait, that's
Damage.
that line?
Damage.
I'm pretty.
Theta damage.
There's no way they meant to do that. I'm pretty sure
I'm
Prototype
so
has said
glad I
that
have one on
before.
my head. Now watch as this intense boss battle unfolds.
Really funny.
They were no match for punching. You got me an epic monster, Nunu.
That's the old
You
Nunu
shouldn't
bot
have.
quote.
Let's go. The bigger they are, the more fun it is to stuff them into my compactor. Epic lols. This monster
Alright, I want to keep watching this, but I want to start queuing up League as well. So let's go into that, because also I don't want to make this YouTube video like 4 hours long. Let me go into the League queue while we're watching this, okay? Oh, Princess Marceline, welcome back for 7 months. Thanks for your sub. Avenger1471, thanks for the sub. Callaghan1, welcome back for 2 months. Full Raptor, welcome back for 22 months. Yun Fox, thanks for the sub. Beta5, welcome back for a full year. And Goodale, welcome back for 3 months. Thanks for your subbing, guys.
makes me angry. It will not like me when I'm angry. Even epic monsters are 3 megabytes at most. Monster dive. We must monster dive.
Is this
The
seriously?
surprise twist is finally revealed. We were the monsters the whole time. Krog life. I think I stepped in Malphite poop.
What?
Krugs. No one
Wait,
knows what you guys are.
This
You
guy
are
is potentially the best skin in the game.
1v1 me.
He has
You
so
can.
many lines.
You're a
What the f?
Squawk squawk. Looks like Raptor is back on the menu. Another epic battle in the Rift Wars against the Toad.
Wait. Nunu
Oh,
got a
get
rework
stuck.
and the best skin in the game. That's OP.
I eat my grumps with catch-up experience.
That's funny.
Fight me. Alpha Wolves. You aren't even in beta. This'll be easy. Doggos intense.
They could make the lines of the computer so they need to pay a voice actor.
Those
That's
guys
funny.
were worthless. Get dunked.
Well, that's actually true
So
too.
Are you? Yummy. Delicious. Boosted animals. Whoop whoop. My superior skills have triumphed once more.
This is like 7 lines for a normal
Welcome
camp.
to the Destroyed Monster Club. Appreciate it a lot. They had no chance to survive. Farming complete. 1000 AP one shot.
Oh god.
Jungling is so easy. Welcome
Wait,
to
that's-
the Rift Wars. That's what I'll say as I walk forward in slow motion, and all my enemies explode behind me.
Wait, this skin is so
Brought
good.
Online. I thought you would want to know. Formulating strategy. Tower dive. My friends know me as Workframe integrated lossless lifeform, uploaded mainly for punching. But you can call me Willump.
It is the year 20XX.
This is such a
young
long
Willump
line.
named Nunu
20XX?
systems and find some old AI code from the game League of Legends.
Error, error.
Cogs broke again. Now that Riot Corp rules the world, we all gotta fight in the Rift Wars. It's my robot against yours.
Summoner, summoner.
Just give me a second. You think my mom is in the crowd tonight, Willump?
Error, no result found. Try putting your search in quotations.
Okay.
Here is my brilliant plan.
I think you have to
Step
buy
1,
this skin
tower
if you're
dive.
playing Nunu.
Step 2, tower dive. Step 3, wait for it. Tower dive. Can you obey this protocol, Nunu?
It's kinda complicated. Why don't we just tower dive? GLHF!
That means good luck, human flesh bags. I will ponder the true meaning of friendship, Nunu, while punching these noobs until all of their ones are zeros.
I'm starting to think maybe friendship's a bug.
I promise I won't tilt this time, Nunu. I don't want you to fall off. Lag.
I shouldn't have given you those bronze circuits. Apply wrench directly to the forehead.
That
I
feels
think that's
better,
the
Nunu.
support part player.
Recalibrating.
Tower dive!
Oh yeah. Zoom. I have a need for speed.
Whoa!
There is a movement.
His
speed
hasten
cap.
move is
Lame.
he's a mech?
Hold onto your keyboard. Hey look. I'm a motorcycle. Vroom.
Transformerate! Awesome
Wait,
mode
doesn't
is
just
back!
doesn't this just encourage running it
This is
down
where I
mid with
install
Moby boots?
handlebars! Time to win the Rift Wars!
Oh. Riot didn't think this through. Maybe they shouldn't have made the hasty animation that good. Wait, I don't think Riot thought that through all the way.